You ever wonder why a simple compliment makes you uncomfortable? Or why you can read the mood in a room faster than anyone else? These aren't quirks. They're signs of something deeper, something you were never told about. If any part of that hook felt uncomfortably true, you're not alone. CPTSD doesn't always look like what movies show us. Sometimes it shows up quietly, in the way you react, the way you think, the way your body stiffens without warning. And for years, you might have blamed yourself. You might have thought you were too sensitive, too awkward, or too much. But what if these reactions weren't random flaws, and were actually signs of a nervous system that had to grow up too fast? In this episode, we're breaking down 5 subtle signs of CPTSD, the ones most people miss, the ones you probably learned to normalize, and the ones that finally make everything click. Sign number 1. Difficulty receiving compliments. Let's start with one of the most confusing signs. You struggle to receive compliments. Maybe someone tells you, "You did great," and instead of feeling proud, your stomach tightens. Your brain goes blank. You instinctively deflect. "Oh no, it was nothing," or "anyone could have done it." But here's the part almost nobody talks about. Compliments feel dangerous because in your past, good moments never stayed good. Maybe praise was followed by criticism. Maybe kindness came with conditions. Maybe the people you depended on were unpredictable. Warm one minute, cold the next. So now your nervous system treats positive attention like a warning sign. Your body literally learned that visibility equals vulnerability. So staying small, staying unnoticed, feels safer than being seen. And this doesn't just show up with strangers. It shows up with friends, partners, co-workers, anyone who gets a little too close. If this is you, don't worry. The next sign might explain even more. Sign number 2. Hyper-attunement to others' emotions. The second sign is something you may not even realize you're doing, until someone points it out. You walk into a room and within seconds, you feel the mood. You notice the tension in someone's shoulders, the slight shift in their voice, the way they avoid eye contact. While everyone else is chilling, you're scanning, quietly, automatically, like you're running emotional radar in the background. But here's the part that might make your stomach drop. This wasn't a gift you were born with. It was a survival skill. When you grew up in an unpredictable environment, you had to read micro-expressions, tone changes, every tiny signal that told you whether it was safe or not. Now, even in calm places, your brain doesn't switch off. It keeps scanning, preparing, predicting. Hyper-attunement is your nervous system doing threat forecasting, even when there's no threat at all. And surprisingly, this constant emotional monitoring often leads to sign number 3. Sign number 3, the freeze response. Sign number 3 is the one that frustrates people the most, the freeze. You know that moment when your boss asks you a simple question, and suddenly your mind goes completely blank? Or someone crosses a boundary and instead of speaking up, you smile, nod, and only later think, "Why didn't I say something?" It feels like your brain malfunctioned, like you failed some invisible test. But here's the truth. Almost no one tells you. Freezing isn't a flaw. It's a protective shutdown. When you were younger, fighting back wasn't safe, and running away wasn't an option. So your nervous system learned a third strategy. Go still, go quiet, disappear until the danger passes. And now, that same response gets triggered by normal things. A disagreement, a tough conversation, even a decision you weren't prepared for. Freeze is your body's emergency brake, not a sign of weakness. Just a sign you survived something you never should have faced alone. And sign number 4 reveals what this freeze response often turns into. Sign number 4. Apologizing for existing. This next one is subtle and painfully common among people with CPTSD. You apologize for everything, for interrupting, for asking a question, for walking past someone. You even apologize for things that aren't your fault, or things no one even noticed. Sometimes you catch yourself saying sorry 5-10 times a day, and you don't even know why. But here's the deeper layer most people never realize. You're not apologizing for the situation. You're apologizing for your presence. At some point in your life, you learned that your needs were inconvenient. Your feelings were too much. and existing loudly made you a target, so shrinking became a way to stay safe. This habit is a form of learned invisibility, a survival strategy where you make yourself small to avoid conflict, rejection, or punishment. And the toughest part? People around you often take advantage of this softness, which leads us straight into sign number 5, the one your body has been holding on to. Sign number 5, the body keeps the score. And finally, the sign that surprises people the most. Your body reacts before your mind does. A stomach ache right before a social event. Your shoulders tightening when someone raises their voice. A sudden wave of fatigue after spending time with the wrong person. Headaches that appear out of nowhere and disappear just as fast when you're finally alone. Most people brush these off as stress, but for trauma survivors, these reactions are messages. Because here's the unsettling truth. Your body remembers what your mind learned to forget. When emotional pain was too overwhelming, your nervous system stored the memory physically, in your muscles, your breath, your gut. So now, even years later, your body sounds the alarm whenever something feels familiar, even if you can't explain why. These aren't random symptoms. They're somatic flashbacks, your body replaying old danger without showing you the original scene. And once you recognize this pattern, the healing finally starts to make sense. So if you saw yourself in these signs, please remember this. Nothing about you is random or broken or dramatic. Every reaction you have, the freezing, the scanning, the tension, even the apologies you can't stop saying, they were all survival strategies. Things you learned to stay safe in situations that no child should have had to navigate. And the fact that you're here now, learning, trying to understand yourself instead of blaming yourself, that already means you're healing, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. If this episode hit a little too close, I'd love to hear which sign felt the most familiar to you. Drop it in the comments. Your story might help someone else feel less alone. And if you want a part 2, 5 signs you're quietly healing, let me know and I'll make it next. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it.